Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we will meet a new lawyer and they will share stories of when they went beyond legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samalin. I'm the principal of Samalin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for lawyers, their firms, and their clients. And let's applaud Lawyers Who Care and let's learn from them. Today, my guest is Travis Townsend Jr. He is the co-founding partner of Townsend Lockett, and Travis practices business and transactional law in Atlanta, Georgia, and he assists businesses through various growth stages. Welcome, Travis.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Travis, tell us what brought you to the law.
Well, my story is really one of, without being sort of self-aggrandizing, one of a hero, so to speak. Since I can remember, really as a young boy, I sort of had this ethos of protection and kind of fighting for what's right and fighting for the little guy. And so, way back in elementary school, I was sort of a person who would stand up for those who would get picked on. And I just couldn't stand by and watch when those with more power, force, or ability would take advantage of those who really could not take care of themselves or defend themselves. And it kind of progressed to where I would advocate for students in class versus teachers who may have been meting out unfair punishments or misremembering instructions that they gave, and then kind of meting out injustice, all the way to kind of deciding that, hey, the best place to do that would be the law. And so I sort of drove towards a career of law from maybe fourth grade and decided I want to be a lawyer so that I could be maybe a civil rights attorney, maybe a criminal defense attorney to protect people's rights, or an individual would be protecting folks from sort of unfair treatment in the workplace. And so I thought I was going to be a lawyer in the trial room, in the courtroom, fighting for people in that regard. And that's kind of my origins. I transitioned to focus on business because a mentor of mine when I was in law school talked to me about sort of the opportunities in business where there are little guys in business as well who don't necessarily get the type of support and expert counsel from professionals like lawyers, CPAs, those who kind of move business around, that they need counsel and protectors and people who would be looking out for their best interests as well. And so I pivoted because I looked and I saw that there were a lot of people who wanted to fight for the little guy, who were in criminal defense, civil rights, you name it. And that's kind of how I pivoted to business law, fighting for the little guy. But also I have some pretty large clients as well.
Mm-hmm. So what do you see as being a big injustice these days? If you're advocating for the little guy, what are you seeing a lot of that makes you say, this is unfair?
Yeah. So one of the things that you typically see when you have a smaller client, small business or middle market business, and they kind of finally, the holy grail for a client like that is to work for a large customer, a large client, maybe an international brand, somebody that's billions of dollars of market cap that can just kind of feed them business opportunities, revenue opportunities. But one of the things you see in that dynamic is folks of that size using that size to leverage down extra privileges, perks, restrictions, and most importantly, price and price reduction. And so I see that all the time. And unless you have counsel who has represented those individuals at that same level and been on that side of the house, who can articulate sort of what they're looking for and how to counter that, it's very hard to get a fair price or a price that will really help you achieve your dreams as a smaller business. You think you're going to land a big client and it's going to be a big boost in revenue, but sometimes you find that you are spending more time, resources, getting less dollar per product, per service completed. And so I see that happen, and we do a good job here at Townsend Lockett working to make sure that our clients that are smaller businesses, that are middle market businesses, can still sell at their full value when they're working with larger clients.
Mm. So at the beginning of this, you mentioned that there was a great story that you wanted to share with us. Can you, without giving names, could you share that with everybody? Maybe give an example of what that looks like?
Absolutely. I like to share this story because it epitomizes sort of why I went and left Big Law to start my own law practice and focus on business and corporate finance. One of the things that we sort of believe in Townsend Lockett is taking individuals who have dreams, if they have gumption, work ethic, they're ethical, and whatever they want to achieve, if they see themselves as a large company, even though they're a brand new startup, we want to get them there. And so I remember I had a client who I'd done a couple smaller matters with him, and the principal came to my office, asked for some time. We rented out a conference room, and he was like, I need a whiteboard. We had a conference room with a wall whiteboard, and gave him a pen, one of those whiteboard pens, markers, and he just went to drawing. And this is my vision. I kind of want to do it this way. This is what I hope to do. I don't really know how to do this, but I know that this is sort of the key to it. And if I do this, this is where I want to be. This is how I see myself. This is my goal, my objective. And sat there and said, you know what? We can help you get there. We can start from the basics, help you form the company, work with the partners, help you negotiate the way you're going to finance these transactions. This ended up being a multi-acquisitive business. So we went from a whiteboard concept with a few holes, great vision and energy, and we paired up with them. We had our legal know-how and our expertise, having worked with the clients that were where this person wanted to be. So we could bring that perspective and help them understand how to get there. And so from there, we just started and built the business, helped them get the finance, helped them acquire their first business in that model. And from there, we probably acquired, we were on a pace of acquiring one business every 2 months or so, to where we were starting to acquire, 2 businesses at a time, each month. And we got up to where over the course of several years, we were buying on their behalf, helping them buy 2 businesses, 3 businesses, closing 3 business acquisitions at a time, to where they went from a valuation, as I mentioned, a concept, to a PE fund taking a majority interest valued at $100 million. And this was just over a couple of years. And the business is expansive. It has multiple brands under its umbrella. It's a major business, and they are looking at ways to grow, and they're tracking towards $1 billion valuation. And so that story is why we exist. It is my passion. They're achieving their dreams. I saw several people who invested in that business at the early stage, friends, family, other business prospects, and believed in this possibility, and they put the work in. And so that's what we want. We want to help companies and clients achieve their dreams, their business dreams, and be as big as they want to be, as expensive as they want to be.
Got it. So by the way, and if Travis, if there is one point that you wanted to leave those that are watching today, what would that point be? What would that takeaway be?
So one of the things I find is that very hungry, active business people who are visionaries, they get really focused on doing the work, selling the product, getting their name out there, the marketing especially, and all the things internally, from just a process, build the product, get it out there, sell it, collect revenue. One thing I'd recommend is you got to have the experts, and that goes from obviously legal, but have CPAs help you figure out your financial strategy and structure, financial experts to support you in that regard, and go and obviously invest in legal counsel. If you plan ahead for risks, for problems, you actually save a lot of money. The money that people think they're going to spend, that they can't afford to spend on proper legal counsel at the front end, they're going to spend. Oftentimes we get people, we tell them, look, we can help you, and this is what what it's going to cost, or this is what any attorney is going to cost you. If you don't go with us, go with somebody. Because I just want to see people kind of get to where they need to be. And
Yes.
and they say it's out of budget, but then they come back later, and then we have to unwind and fix a lot of things for twice, 3 times the value. So invest in yourself, invest in experts. It'll pay off.
So I'd like to thank my guest, Travis Townsend Jr. of Townsend and Lockett in Atlanta, Georgia. Travis, can you provide our audience with your contact information?
Sure. You can reach me at Travis at townsendlockett.com. That's Travis at TOWNSENDLOCKETT.com. The number here is 404-870-8501, and you can reach us online, our website at townsendlockett.com.
Got it. This has been the Lawyers Who Care video show podcast that highlights attorneys like Travis that go beyond for their clients. If you're an attorney or know one who does, feel free to reach us at 914-666-6600. And Travis, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.